man. Good morning. What's up? Yeah, man. A lot of people just keep asking me about this pro stock motorcycle and pro stock thing and da da da. And and I'm just take it back to the whole thing, man. For me, pro stock motorcycles just like anybody else who race motorcycles or race. Period. You want to get to the highest level of racing that you can get to at of whatever that might be. If it's NHRA at the time, or it could end up being whatever. We don't know, but at the time you're looking at, me, 20-some years old, getting the opportunity to go out here and ride a pro style bike. Not like a pro style bike like what I have, but a pro style bike like what Eddie Craig and them and all them guys got some real stuff, because the guy who I rode for, he was the man. He had the power. He had the right stuff. So, being able to get on a motorcycle like that is different than getting on a motorcycle like mine. So just to kind of like let people see like what time it really is as it relates to the bike that I have and why I have my bike. It's like I've had this bike about as long as I've had 2020. At the time, I just did not do anything with it. Started getting it done. Wheeler took the bike completely apart. It's been about a 4-year project, all in the making. So it wasn't something that was rushed, thrown together or whatever. It was something that I knew that, I'm gonna put it together right. 4 years later, George has it down there in Florida, trying to get it, teed up to do test hits, basically just make hits, make laps, make a bike that can make laps. So with that being said, like you heard me say, I've been working on this bike for 4 years, and it takes a little bit of financial, it just takes business to make this thing go, period. I mean, anything that you want to do that's not a need, that's your want. You got to go a little harder in the paint to make it happen. And, after 4 years of building it, putting it together, painting it, redoing the body work to fit my size and everything, some opportunities came up where, the bike could have been used for someone else, but that's another story. Right now, what we want to talk about is why would you want to go pro stock racing? Why do you want to go pro stock bike racing? And this only in my opinion. This ain't nobody else's opinion. This ain't nobody else's. This ain't no theory or nothing. I mean, nothing to be nothing but my opinion. So this is what I would say. At my 20s, it was just all about just getting there, that racer's mindset. I'm going all out in the paint to make it happen. But the reality of it is that, your dreams and your finances gonna have to line up in that game right there. Point blank, period. There's no two ways. There ain't no two ways about it. It's like you gonna have to have some money, or you just ain't gonna do that. Or if you're gonna do it and you ain't got no money, then you just doing it. You know what I mean? When I say that, I mean I don't show up to races, with no opportunity at all to compete, to win. And to me, it don't make no sense. If you're gonna go out there just to say you was on television, then we're gonna talk about something else, because there are some reasons that you might have to do that. And that's the reason why I want to break this down, like my mindset as it relates to pro style motorcycle racing and pro style bikes. And if you notice that on my leathers there is a Camping World stickers on it, because my idea originally was to campaign the bike potentially at a few NHRA events in order to help increase the branding of Hollywood Drag Racing. Hence why you see the logo on the bike, Hollywood Drag Racing, which is a media company. So for me, it was business. It's business off the muscle. I mean, a business bought the bike, a business bought the engines, a business put all the pieces together to go advertise on a higher a larger platform that had more viewership that was cheaper than me. If you look at it this way, just let's look at it this way. And this is what people need to understand about the NHRA and why it could be successful for you, but it also can be, you know, financially strenuous on you as well if you're not doing it from the mindset of a business situation. I mean, if you want to do your goal or have your fun or live out your dream, hey, I get it, because that's what I was doing, and I'm still gonna do it at some point. But I even with seeing how the business can take place now, I might even use a separate option than what I even originally had thought that I probably, the process that I was originally going to do, you know, just based off of that. But this is how it is, man. You in your 20s and some years old, and you ain't got no damn hell of a bankroll or whatever, and you about to go try to fund 20s or 30 years old, and you got other stuff you really need to go do, and you gonna go try to build this to go out there without nobody's name on it. Yeah, I'm gonna just say I think you asking for it, you know, personally, because now you got to put up money. You know, you got to take out. You got to look at everything to go along with this deal. If ain't nobody helping you foot that bill, that's your bill. You ain't even talking about the bill like, you know, you got the bike, that's one bill. That's an engine, that's a bill. Then you got to pay a tuner, that's another bill. Now you got to maintenance this guy every round, that's a bill. And okay, that's just the bike. Then you testing it, that's the bill. Everything you doing is financial. It's financial. And God forbid that you go out there and you sling a rod or break a crank. Now you looking at 5 to 7, 15, or another $25 to $30,000. I mean, come on, man. Unless you ain't really got something going on that can afford to do that financially, that it ain't put no dent in nothing that you doing is cool in the game, then, you know, dream, live out your dream, live out your passion. Listen, I'm the last person to tell anybody about don't go after your dream. But, you know, with going after your dream, you got to make sure that you still keeping yourself grounded financially, because suppose anything, like hell, we had COVID could have came mid-season on your dream. You know, for a lot of people it did. And now they got all this money tied up and they can't even go out there and do nothing about fulfilling any financial obligation that they anticipated doing with whatever their investment is, because something happened outside of their control. But if they would have stayed grounded, maybe okay, fine, okay, that hit, but it didn't hurt us. It's like saying that you're gonna go build a $100,000 motorcycle to go out here and because you want to go out here and a chance to win $1 million, and only 16 of y'all. I take them chances right there. You know, if I got the right bike, that's a hell of an opportunity, right? But you can be the person who spend $1 million and never get, you know, no return on investment. You just went and spent somebody's money or whatever, or spent your money. How about that? Okay, that's one way to go. You can go, you have the money, you take care of it, it's no big deal, you enjoy it, you're doing it because you love it, right? That's fine. There's plenty of extreme hobbyists. You know, I'm one of them. I'm an extreme hobbyist, and I can afford to do what I want to do for myself, period. If a sponsor wants to step up and be a part of a program that's going to be ran like a corporate professional operation, you know who I am, you know how to get at me. But for someone who's going to go out here and foot a bill, then you need to just be mindful of the bills that are going to come along with the process. And that's just that. Okay, but check this out. If it was me, I mean, if it's me and I had not had any opportunity to, per se, you know, if I'm good at marketing, or if I'm good at, I can raise capital. Okay, now I see the benefit of potentially not going and make this serious, huge upfront investment like a person like me. I just like owning my own things. You know, I like to control my own destiny. I like to be able to, you know, take my time and put things together. I don't want to rush things through, whatever. I'm just like that. You know, and at the end of it, you know, I want to be able to have some that I can liquidate or whatever I do and use towards something else or whatever, or even just leave it in my basement as a trophy. But to really, you know, for me to really see the value of the investment would only mean to me, like a team that I raced for, which was sponsored by Belt Additives, Harry Lartigue. Well, Harry Lartigue then again is a person who, with or without Belt Additives, he going racing if he wants to go racing. Period. And he's not gonna race at the bottom of the pack. So those are type of different people that I'm saying. And phone ringing, but hold on. But right here, hold on a second. So he not gonna race at the bottom of the pack. He not going out there to no racetrack to let nobody go beat our heads in. We'll test all year before we do that. And I appreciated it about him, because that's the same way as I don't want to go out there and get scrubbed up on the house. That ain't how I want to operate. And then I don't want the company that I'm looking to represent to look like that. Nobody want their company on no loser. I mean, for real. I mean, you at the end of the day, the company is trying to get representation, but they don't want to be represented as somebody who can't never turn no lights on. They ain't never winning. I mean, think about if it was your company, right? But check this out. Here's how I see this. Simple. If you can hone your skills, first of all, you need to figure out, can you ride? Can you really ride this motorcycle? People ask me about pro stop bikes. They hit different. They move different. I honestly, me personally, I just honestly can't tell you the difference. And I don't know if it's just because I started on clutch bikes, pro stop, all horsepower bikes was all I ever rode. Up until 90. No, I'm sorry, until maybe 2006. I'm going to go back to the 90s. And the first time I ever rode anything other than a clutch bike was in 2006, and that was the Predator that my man Grant had. And I rode that with Cooper Performance Pro Modified bike. Very first time I ever raced a bike like that. But all those years before, I always rode a clutch bike. Last bike I had ever rode before I rode a Pro Modified bike was a Pro Stop bike, where we went 737 and 170 some miles an hour at the the Houston, I think they used to call it the Pro Stop Super Bowl or something that used to be in Baytown, Texas. I did that and test and went 730s, the first 30s I had seen that we had heard about on any Pro Stop bikes. And Lartigue and I pulled it off in front of the people in Texas, in Baytown. But, the point of it is, I still think that anybody who wants to pursue that dream needs to find a way to scale up from bikes that are similar, right? Similar acceleration, maybe not the cost of the bike that a Gauge or Vance and Hines or Trick Tools and all them people are riding at this point, because those mistakes that you can potentially make at that price point would be a $20,000 or $10,000 failure, versus if you get you a nice mule, nice OG, a nice OG 70-inch pro stop bike, maybe an old school 2-valve or something that you can beat on and go get some laps. Get laps, because it doesn't matter if you're gonna go to the best of the best and you got the money to go out there and invest in, a bike that can run, 680s, if you ain't a 680 rider. You know what I mean? Because it's just bad business, overall, because you're showing up not prepared to do something at a level that requires for you to be the best. And that's kind of like, even like with me and with pro stop bikes, I can't tell you personally from a rider's perspective how did it feel, what felt different to me, because I've always got used to what I guess some of them say, oh, it hit different, whatever. I just don't know, man. I can feel a bike pretty good. I don't remember no pro stop bike running through my butt, that hard to where I felt like it was gonna get out from under me. Now they are extremely, temperamental and extremely a finesse piece to ride. It's very critical. You don't have any power adders or anything to make up for the mistakes that you potentially can make while you riding it. So everything got to be dead on the money, or you lose horsepower. Period. And that's and I would have to, like, and once again, my OG guy that honed my skill, Walt Robinson and Walker Griggs and Bruce Faison. This the crew I came up with. People who I mean, we live, eat and sleep, drink nothing but pro stock horsepower motorcycles, clutch and basement power. That was just we live for it. That's what we did, man. So it was always about the bike was there. It was there. Walt, he say the bike was there, so it was always on me to gain ET. So spinning the story back, what I'm saying is this, man. First things first, you asked me about what do I think about NHRA Pro Stock. The first thing I probably would tell you is, can you or have you ridden anything comparable to what you're trying to go do? Because that would be the first step, right? We used to have Frank Harley's. I went through Frank Harley's drag racing, motorcycle drag racing school with George, Bryce, and Angel. Me and Sean again, all us was down there, Blake, and a few other people. And some people could not really do it, and some people were struggling to get it done, but they ended up getting it done, right? But you gonna have to go out there and do that. And that kind of segues into why Baber Performance Motorcycles and myself, the Manufacturers Cup, have looked at doing the Pro Stock Limited class. Because I mean, to us, it's like, dang, people like, oh, 720s, yeah, that's bracket racing. I'm like, I ain't never been 720 on an all motor horsepower bike on a Pro Stock bike. Me, I haven't. And I've seen some very good riders ride, and they still are cracking right at 720s or whatever. But for me, what I think that most people who want to start off in that type of class is that don't make a $200,000 bike investment prior to at least making a $40,000 bike investment and a $50,000 bike investment perhaps, and go make some laps, go do some testing, go see if you are the person that gonna deal with or be able to do it, right? So hold on, y'all. The Bill Bowles was calling me this morning. Billy Bowles.
So have you had any further discussions with any people that you know about the CC to weight?
All right, so look, I'm on a live stream and your voice is in my live stream, so I'm gonna talk to you back when I call you back, all right?
Okay.
All right, I don't want to put you on the live like that, but good morning, and I'm gonna hit you back, big dog.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so like I was saying, man, that was Billy Bowles, Pro Mod champion, man. Like, listen, man, I ain't out here trying to rob nobody their dreams. I ain't trying to like put nobody in no crazy position. No, none of that right here. I'm a realist, man. And I've been without it. When I was not able to do anything for myself, I vowed to not put myself in that situation anymore, because I realized the mistakes that I had made. And I wanted to figure out a better way to do what I wanted to do. I really love what we do with racing, period. Right? So, there is a right way to go do those things that you dream about doing. Here's, like I said, here's the deal. If you got the bread and you got the passion, I would still tell you, take a step back. Don't go buy $175,000, $200,000 piece yet. And expect for it to do what Herrera, Matt, all these people are doing. They got years, thousands of laps. Now, but check this out. If you are not going to ride the bike and you got that kind of money and you want to just be the person behind the bike, calling the, with the team crew shirt and your name is called in the lights, team owner, blah, 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 got rider XYZ in the third from whatever, the hot shot rider, everybody all know, and you want to just do that, shoot, that's fun. If you got, hey, listen, If you got it to do it, then why not? Why not? What you gonna do with the money anyway? If you got it like that, to do it like that, then you can pick up the phone and call about 3 of the best teams out there, because it's about 3-4, period. It ain't gonna be a whole bunch of them. You got some independents that you might can get with too. But if you want to just go ahead and do it like that, you might as well you can either do it one or two ways. You can go buy the piece. More than likely you want to own all your stuff. You can go get all that stuff and spend about $300,000-$400,000 out there said and done with the rig and all that. You might already have that. Maybe you don't even want to show up with all that, but you just want to race. Okay, cool. Then you hire the guy that wants to ride. Now, rider, let's talk about you. This guy comes along. He got everything. He just needs somebody in the seat of his bikes. Now, here you go. You got a dream. All you wanted to do was race in the NHRA. All right? That's all your dream was. That's the only thing you've communicated to these people, that your dream was to race in the NHRA. And here it is. Okay, but now you saying you so excited. Some people get so excited in the moment that they forget that, dang, these races are like quite a ways away, and you got to allocate quite a few days away from things that you're doing to survive normally, to be at these places if you're gonna do it. So now you got to come up with some kind of hustle, or you could just do business. If someone's asking you, a rider, I want you to compete in 16 events for me. I like your style, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. Now you got to sit down and look at, instead of just saying yes, you got to be realistic. I mean, like, can I realistically do this? Can I realistically, make this commitment? Okay. Or how do I realistically make this commitment? And if they're serious, a serious business person ain't gonna take your time, lightly. So it's either gonna be, well, either they're gonna say, okay, yeah, I agree with your terms and or I'll just go to the next person over here. But me personally, I'm gonna just tell you like this, straight up. Anybody listen to this right from me. The only thing that is really the most valuable asset that we have, all of us, is our time. Period. You can't get that time back. Just as we speaking, driving, I'm headed to the camper shop to get a caulk gun to finish doing the trailer. The only thing you can't get back is time, man. So you gotta value your time. Your time is valuable. How much time you spend doing stuff is valuable. It ain't like you gotta go out here and clock nobody across the head if for or whatever, because part of the deal is they fulfilling a part of your dream, but at the same time you still got to survive. You know what I'm saying? You still got to survive. And if the person that you are, and the person that person saw that they wanted to put on their bike, they done went and spent $200,000. What do you think they're gonna be tripping if you say I need at least $1,500 a race to at least cover the expenses? I mean, that might just be legit. Your expenses, listen, your check that you gonna miss that week from your payroll check you about to miss that week, gonna be gone. Because you're gonna have to spend at least about a week at an NHRA event, right? Okay, that's a week. And then you gotta think about this, that check gone. And then you gotta think about, you might have to fly somewhere, right? And then when you get there, you're gonna need some accommodations. And then you're gonna not only need accommodations, you're gonna need food. So it's nothing unreasonable about going to the table on a deal, and saying, like, look, these are my expenses itemized, not no bootleg list of things you think that are important. You itemize your expenses. That's that. That's business. And everybody can agree or disagree right then and there. That owner who already done spent his money can say, you know what, I don't want to do that. That's too much for me, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay, he might go on, you might lose that ride, but guess what? What did you lose? Nothing. Nothing. You didn't lose nothing. You didn't have nothing. It was an opportunity. It was a conversation that took place, an opportunity where you had to decide what was more important to you. Was it more important for you to go get, to continue to support your livelihood, or was it more important to you to just go out here and get that experience? Now, I'm gonna tell you what I would have thought about. Now, if you're the good rider, now here's where the business part can come in at as well. All right, the guy already got everything. He almost willing to take care of the expenses, but he might say something like, look, I'm gonna let you ride, and we can do all of that. You know what I mean? Every race or whatever, but you're gonna have to cover your own expenses. Because to me, him might say an owner himself, that I feel like it's a luxury for you to be able to even compete at this level on this bike. And I like you, but they say this up front. Now this conversation they might have to have had or whatever, or the rebuttal of, or all these things. Maybe the owner wasn't even thinking he was looking to have to pay somebody. You know what I mean? You never know what the other person's thinking until you communicate that, right? That's why they say conversation rule the nation. That what me and my OG say all the time. Conversation rule the nation. Ain't nothing like an understanding. And that's one way. The other way, what I'm gonna say it back to you, is this right here. Real simple. There's a cost associated with each race if you want to go do lease programs, right? All right, per se, most teams out there that are in the top tier teams, they're gonna want 10,000 plus an event. All right, $10,000 plus an event for a lease program. And what that would entail is you're gonna already have to be a licensed rider. They already gonna know a lot about you, whatever. They're gonna know that you certified to do it. They might know that you ain't gonna be no threat, but you got the money, so whatever. And you might just want to do it for yourself. You might not even be doing it for a sponsor, like even myself. I've even had a conversation myself with the people who got the bikes, that cost that money. And listen, that's the route that I would take. That's the route that I would prefer to take. Develop a skill at a lower level. I have the lower level bike, and anybody who want to come potentially learn with a team like mine still have to bring some money to run the lower level bike, because I'm not a sponsor. I'm the team. I'm a team equipment owner. I'm not a sponsor. Anybody wants to jump on my equipment, at this point in the game, that type of equipment, they got to bring their own revenue to make that go. Because I can't support your habit. I got to support my own, and I got other things I want to do with my time and my money. But here's the equipment. The equipment is here. That alleviates the $250,000, the $50,000, the $100,000 initial cost investment. All I'm saying is, here go a car. You can drive the car. Just fill it up with gas. Make sure you bring it back with me full of gas. And I don't want my stuff brought to me nothing less than what I gave it to you at. Period. Simple. Okay, we could do that. But at the same time, if we're gonna do that, then that might be this fee. Like the big guys, this a fee. And basically what they're saying is, hey, here's my bike. It's a rental car. Just like I just said, rental car. But it's a $12,000 rental car, a $10,000 rental car for the weekend. And you ain't got to do nothing. This bike ready to roll, ready to race. And if you done took your time and did your homework and did all the things I told you about, can you ride and all that stuff, then when you get on this bullet, it's going to feel like second nature. It's going to be fast. You're going to be excited, and you're going to deliver the product. Now check this out. Prior to you going out there asking these people about, getting that deeply involved, signing contracts, they're gonna make you sign contracts, all that stuff, I'm sure, because everybody got to have an understanding. It ain't no shake hand understanding when it comes to money, for real, because you can work all the details out in your conversation, but once the rubber hit the road, you got to put it on paper, man. And sometimes you can get all the way to the paper, and when people read it for what it is, then they might not like it. They just might not like the idea no more. And hey, listen, check this out. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's been plenty of deals I thought were very good ideas, very great ideas, And for whatever reason, when it hits paper and I read it or and I look at it, I look at the potential of the failure or the exposure of the situation from a liability standpoint, I'd be like, nah, because my man who owns the Grecian Euro in Atlanta, George Caloris, used to always tell me, if it ain't no hell yeah, it's a hell no. And I just roll with that, and that's just kind of how I roll, man. So the point of the matter is this: if you can go out and you can get the bikes and you know that you can ride the bike and you can lease the bike for a certain amount of money, here's business right here. If they want to lease bike for $10,000 an event and you're looking to do a deal with a corporate sponsor for a season, then you're looking at, just say, if you did 16 races at 10,000, that's $160,000. And that's just to the bike people. And that's not including if you bump the limiter and blow the motor, if you lose control because you grab too much brake. I don't know how those details will work out once you get that far, but I'm almost certain that I know that rider error take care of rider problems. Problems that are caused by the riders are usually the responsibility of the riders, which now that 10,000 could be for a weekend turn into $40,000. 40. Yeah, 40. And maybe even, depending on what bullets that you have in there, you might have a $50,000 bill coming in there. It's not a financial plan because they got to have a bike ready back for the next client that potentially ready, which is you. You've already prepaid for the next event, or do you forego the rest of your events that you paid for to pay for this maintenance? Now you 5-6 races short for your sponsor. See how tricky that get? See how tricky that get? Just that quick. Just that quick, we done ran up from 10. You said 10,000, man. How we at 50? Well, the computer graph said that you bumped second, third. You missed your 1, 2. You missed your 2, 3. And you caught the other ones late, but you didn't hit the limiter. Or you went down there and you grabbed the brakes, got hurt or slid off the bike or something like that. Now, I don't, these people aren't looking to take no L. Now, for sure that there's probably some kind of insurance involved. And I'm damn sure I'd be buying me some regardless. I mean, it ain't no way I want to leave there with no bill like that. But check this out. $10,000 event. So I'm thinking, okay, worst case scenario, if I blow an engine, an event is what I need to be looking at, period. So how much is this engine? This engine is $35K. So really, I'm at a $50K an event. So in a year, at 10 races at 50 is 500,000. So we just go so we looking about close to $800,000 for the season, 900,000 if you just got some cushion enough for engines. Okay, wipe the cushion out, and you go 800,000 to 160, say 200 to 8, put them two together, 10. So you need about a $500,000 sponsorship budget if you want to be on top. That's just the numbers I see in my head, and that's leaving cushion. Now that doesn't say that you can't go in there and do every race, don't hit the limiters, don't tear the bikes up, and don't do nothing wrong, and you come out with 15 instead of 10, but not 50. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying anybody can't do that. But when you're shopping for the sponsorship, excuse me, you got to be able to show value to the sponsor, one. So you want to put them on the best product that you can provide them, right? You got to go out there and do the very best that you can do. But what else do they want for their money? I mean, did you consider flyers? Did you consider the banners? Did you consider all the paraphernalia that goes along that you got to take out of that same money that you got to try to race with? So these are the things that I'm talking about. But that's why I say it's important to understand why you want to do it, because there's a right way to do it. And for a large corporation that wants a 200 miles per hour billboard, $1 million check or budget is not unheard of. It really isn't unheard of. It's business. So you have to show the value for them to understand why they want to, one, invest $1 million on a 200-mile-per-hour billboard, two-wheel billboard, and if they see the value, then there it is, right? But you got to deliver that value in order for you to make it back to them next year. But at the same time, if you do what you're supposed to do as it relates to the business part of it, and you go out there and you give them the customer satisfaction that they were looking for, then you build a relationship that can last you for years, and you never bought one bike. Never bought one bike. You taking other people's money who wanted to be on a platform. Now the NHRA is that platform in motorcycle, in drag racing, period. Now, and mainly, top fuel, funny cars, but that is the pinnacle of the motorcycle drag racing, right? So you are actually selling sponsors impressions for a value that is probably less expensive overall in the duration of a year if they were to buy the same amount of time of commercial ad space during the broadcast of a Fox event. It would cost them maybe $2 million just because of how much ad space costs. All right, so potentially, and this is one of the problems that bikes run into even now. Even bikes, pro style bikes, have always had the same problem. I mean, I can't say that they had the same problem now because coverage might be different. I know at one point, one of the problems was there were not enough impressionable seconds to have a good return on investment for a sponsor. And what they were looking at was just basic metrics. Your duration time in front of a frame, your frames in front of the lens that's going to be on TV. Your riders a 1 second guy, if that, you know what I mean? So 1 second during the Super Bowl might be 16 Super Bowls might be worth $1 million, right? But come on now, let's keep it 100. It ain't that. So all I'm saying is, in your journey of pursuing that level of any level of motorsports, not just pro stock bikes, because I drove pro mod cars, door slammers. I had one of the dopest tuners around, Steve Kurt Jr. Me and him and Perez, Shawty, and all us, and Slim and all us, we got plenty of money grudge racing pro mod cars and street cars. So I've been on both sides of the game, and I see both sides can do the same damage to your finances if you don't keep them in check. So listen, use the tools for what they are. They are tools. They're your passions, but you gotta let your passion be part of your passion. Gotta be your business, and part of your business is gotta be taking care of your house and keeping your house on point. You know what I mean? Like for real, because if all goes bad, the last thing anybody gonna be trying to buy is a race bike. It's Hollywood, man. I'm gonna see y'all later. I'm here for y'all. Love you.